Welcome to our next video in the Connect curriculum. Today we're going to discuss the review questions and the practicing Berean section from lesson 1. So as we finished up lesson 1, here are some of the review questions that can help us to really grasp the material better. I encourage you to please go through these questions, think about it. You'll be able to answer these questions if you read through lesson 1 of the curriculum, and then we'll be able to discuss it when we meet again. The first question is, how would you answer the question, what is the Bible? What are some of the different genres or types of literature you will find in the Bible? You can think about it in terms of movies, as we discussed. There are different types of movies: action movies, romantic comedies, thrillers, horror, and so on. And so there's also different types of literature when you read the Bible. Some examples include genealogies. That's a very common one. If you open up the Matthew, the first chapter, you'll see genealogies. It's true even in the Old Testament. You have war accounts. You can read through battle accounts. How about poetry? You'll find poetry in the Bible. Apocalyptic is another common genre used in the Bible, such as Revelation. And so think through what are the different genres you might discover as you read the Bible. Question 3 is, what is covenant? And what are the two types of covenant that we looked into in lesson 1? How would you explain the royal grant type of covenant? How would you explain the suzerain vassal type of covenant? What is the old covenant and what is the new covenant? And why was there a need for new covenant? And finally, what did you learn from this lesson? Hopefully, you'll be able to take some time and think through these questions. Now, that brings me to the next section, which is the practicing Berean section. So, what is the practicing Berean? Well, in Acts chapter 17, the Bible reads in verse 10, as soon as it was night, the believers sent Paul and Silas away to Berea. On arriving there, they went to the Jewish synagogue. Now, the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true. As a result, many of them believed, as did also a number of prominent Greek women and many Greek men. So here we are introduced to the Bereans. And if you notice, Bereans receive the message with great eagerness. But they don't just receive it and get excited about it. They actually examine the scriptures, and they do so every day with the intent or the goal to see what was being taught is correct. Now think about that for a minute. Who was teaching the Bereans? Paul and Silas. Now, Paul wrote most of the New Testament. I'm sure Silas was pretty awesome missionary as well, really well trained, of course, by Paul and well versed in the gospel and in the Bible. Now, you would think, now I'd be honest with you, if Apostle Paul was teaching me something, I'm just accepting whatever he's saying. I'm just nodding my head, excited, and like, okay, Paul, thank you for this information. And I'll probably ask him some questions. But the reason I'll ask him questions is more so to learn more rather than actually to see what he's saying is true or not. But that's what the Bereans did. They wanted to check out Paul himself and Silas as to what were they teaching. And so that's the heart of being a practicing Berean, is we examine scriptures, examine what someone is teaching us, examine what we are learning in order to make sure that it actually is correct. So again, being a practicing Berean starts with examining what you have been taught. Go through this curriculum for yourself, read through it, go through the review questions, examine what you have been taught, go through the scriptures that are mentioned in the lesson. Now, this practicing of being a Berean And examining scriptures is not just restricted to the curriculum. In fact, you can use this approach to really everything. When you're at church, for example, bring a notebook and a pen. Or you're attending youth, bring a notebook and a pen. Take notes, ask questions, go back and read through the notes, read through the message that was preached, and then you can study it out for yourself, examine for yourself. And honestly, you can, and I would encourage you to look into doing this for everything in your life, not just when it comes to the Bible, but really anything that someone tells you, that you're examining what someone is telling you, whether you hear it on YouTube or Facebook, or whether it be your teachers, whether it be your classmates, whatever, that whoever is teaching you, you're able to still examine what someone is telling you before you just agree with what is being told, to verify if what is being told is correct or not. The second E is to explain. A great way of learning something is to be able to explain what you understand about what was taught to you. So take time and go through the curriculum, examine the lesson that was taught in the curriculum, and then explain it to someone else. It could be your friends, your family, and you can ask them if you can explain to them what you're learning to help you to actually be more clear about what is it that you understand from what was taught. And I definitely encourage you to please share this with your family. Your family should know who is influencing you, who is teaching you, and what is it that you are being taught. That is actually really important. And then the final E is exhale. Exhale is to breathe out. And it's really important to realize that what we are doing here is not just informational. It's not just gathering a ton of information. Instead, we also want to be shaped. And part of that is internalizing, processing what we're learning, and exhaling it out, practicing it, living it. So, for example, we've learned about how God initiates a covenant with us and wants a meaningful connection, meaningful relationship with us. Prayerfully, as we are examining this and being able to process it, we are exhaling this fact, meaning we are taking in that and we are internally being changed, being transformed to want to respond to this incredible connection that God has initiated. Now, this isn't just humanistic, far from it. This is really God working in our insides. And that's why it's called exhale, as in from the inside, God is working as we are open and we are responding and we exhale. So hopefully that makes sense, that being a practicing Berean is about examining, it's about being able to explain, and it is exhale so that we can connect with God. We can connect with God's family and we can connect with God's mission, which we will talk about more in subsequent videos. So hopefully this video has been helpful as you go through lesson 1, reviewing the questions and practicing being a Berean. Thank you so much for watching this video. God bless you.